The David Camm case. It's actually the Camm murders. David Camm is the person. I don't know why people call it the David Camm case. It's the Kim Camm, Bradley Camm, and Jill Camm case. So let's talk about the Camm murders. David Camm was born to Susie and Donald Camm on March 23rd, 1964. In Germantown, maybe like 20 or 30 minutes, maybe less than that. I know it's near Lanesville because I know I would get off at the Georgetown exit and go to Lanesville. I know Polly Freeze is out there. When you get off the Georgetown exit and you take a right, there's like a gas station, and then there's like a McDonald's over there. So there, I don't know why I talked about that, but okay. Well, it's saying that he was the youngest of 4 kids, and David was said to be a very good kid, wanting to be a pastor when he grew up, like his Uncle Leland. When he was a child, right before school started, he was injured, and he got an infection in his like kidneys, and he was in the hospital a while, so he couldn't even start school. David was from a huge family, and I'm talking about a huge church family. Like, he was like a big family. So like when they did things on holidays or anytime, it was huge. It was a huge church going family, and it was said that Susie always, every Sunday, no matter what, dressed her kids up in the best and took them to church. She never missed a Sunday. So if she missed a Sunday, something was going on. That's what it says. So David's Uncle Leland, I think, was the pastor of the church. He was said to have, as a child, David was said to have huge migraine headaches. Like, everybody knew about it. Like, he would just have a migraine out of nowhere. Fun fact, me too. When I was a child, I had horrible headaches. They've kind of eased up as I got older, but I don't know. In high school, he played football, basketball, and he even worked a job detailing cars. He could take apart a car and put it back together. And he graduated spring of 1982 from New Albany High School. Soon after, his dreams of being a minister was crushed because he got some girl pregnant. Her name was Tamira Zimmerman, and they got married November 13th of 1982. Tammy moved in with him with his parents. On February 9th of 1983, they welcomed a beautiful daughter 2 months early, Whitney Lane Camm. At this time, Camm was barely home and worked detailing cars, and he was in college. And then he also volunteered for a police station because he at this point wanted to be a police officer. And this is crazy, like, but he also sacrificed not being at home with his kid and did all those things. So while the mom's there taking care of the kids, he's out living his dreams. We see you, David. We fucking see you. David and Tammy did not last long. That's not a shocker. He was never home. Divorcing in 1986 because of David's affairs, which was a lot, and we'll get into them, and never being home. Whitney would split time between both parents, but when she was with David, basically Susie took care of her. David still continued to volunteer for the police department, and in 1988, his friends set him up on a blind date. This blind date was with a local woman named Kimberly Starr Wren. And Kimberly Starr Wren was born to Janice and Frank Wren on March 14th, 1964. It was said Kim was a wonderful child, very soft-spoken, loved being held as a child. As she got older, her and Debbie, her sister, would do makeovers, and was said that Kim was very smart, very reserved, very quiet, and she never made a fuss about nothing. Never made a fuss. She never complained. It was said when she was in high school at New Albany High, she didn't know David. They went to the same high school, but they didn't know each other. And she also got great grades. She was very smart. She was a cheerleader. She was on student council, and she worked at Target. Damn, these are some busy kids. Well, they weren't kids then, but, you know. In 1983, she graduated with honors from New Albany High School. She went to the same college as Camm, but they never met. I think they went to Indiana University, and neither one of them met. They never met in high school. They never met in college either. She graduated with a 3-year accounting degree, and she worked at an insurance company. It was called Aegon. In 1986, her job was bought by Aegon Insurance, and the office was located in downtown Louisville in 1988. She went back to school. In 1988, she went back to school to, like, finish her degree, so she, I guess, would get a bachelor's, so she could probably make more money. And it says she did that in accounting, So when 23-year-old Camm met David, she said it was love at first sight. They dated and fell in love, and they married on May 13th, 1989, at 7 p.m. at the First Church of God. Whitney was also in the wedding, and David's brother Donnie was the best man. And for the first couple months, they got an apartment. David officially became a police officer in November of 1989. Shortly after, he got picked up to be on the tactical team, and it was said that he was a phenomenal shot. David had a lot of affairs. Many of them I'm not going to list, but just know it's so many that if I kept this going, this video would have been 2 hours if I listed every affair that he had. And this whole time, him and Kim's together. Kim's working. At this time, she's not pregnant. She's just working, and he's never home. He works nights. I mean, it was a lot of affairs. I'm looking down this list, and it's so many. I can't even count them. In 1991, David was promoted to field training officer. And in 1992, he started an emotional affair with a lady named Stephanie McCarthy. See, Stephanie McCarthy worked at a local gym in New Albany. David would frequent that gym, and he started chatting her up like he did all his, if you didn't know this, like he did all his multiple affairs that I can't list because it's so many. Multiple times he would chat them up, fuck them, and then he'd go on and find somebody else. Or sometimes he had relationships with all these women. He would take these women and do things with them like it was his fucking lady. But I'll move on. So Stephanie McCarthy was actually dating somebody named Mark Abbott in the gym, who owned the gym or something. And so he at first was just friends, with her. And in 1992, he was the first one on the scene to the Shandashire murder. And it's said to have disgusted him and made him sick. I'm sure it would, seeing a child like that. And at the same time, Camm was working all the time and did not know about all the women he had slept with. And a lot of the women that knew didn't know he was married because he would take his ring off and say things like, "I'm not married, I got 1 kid." So basically, they're believing him. And it's saying that Camm was working all this time, and she got pregnant at 28, and she was very happy. David was happy. It was said the whole family was happy. And David was said to actually spend more time at home now that she had got pregnant. And Bradley Ray Camm was born February 1st of 1993. It was said both parents were so proud. The whole family was excited. It was a family affair. Everybody was there. And at this time, Whitney was 10 years old. She was super excited, and she was excited to be the big sister. That year, Camm's company moved to PNC Tower downtown. Camm loved her job, and now with her company, she had now been with her company 6 years and becoming a new mom. It was said that David, at this point, when Bradley was born and after all the newness wore off, he wasn't around again. It was like she was basically a single mom doing her thing, and he would come in at night and probably just shower and leave, He always worked, basically, but she made all the money. And at the same time of having sex with all these other women, he was having an emotional affair with Stephanie McCarthy. Remember that girl from the gym? Because she was with somebody, so she was cheating on her man. And she knew that he was married. So there's that. And it didn't bother her. She's still having this emotional affair thing. Stephanie actually left her boyfriend Mark Abbott, and David was right there. I'm sure he was. Waiting in the wings. Hey, Stephanie. Me and you and me. Even though I'm married and have a baby and another one, a daughter. Stephanie let her boyfriend, left her boyfriend Mark Abbott, and then next thing you know, David's showing her all kind of attention. And it is said he did not care when he was with Stephanie. He literally took her everywhere. So Kim would love NASCAR races. So instead of taking Kim, his wife, to NASCAR races, he would literally take Stephanie out of town to dinners, take her out to eat, do all these things you're supposed to be doing to your wife. He's doing them to some other lady. I'm so glad she didn't know about this. It was probably heartbreaking. He told Stephanie in 1993 he did not love Kim, and he wanted a divorce. And she, at this point, had not slept with him, but she believed him that he was really wanting to get a divorce. And David was fully in love with Stephanie. He would tell people, I love her. It's the first time I've ever been in love. Could you imagine hearing a married man say that? You're fucking married. You have 2 kids. You've been married twice. Which, by the way, I didn't know about his first marriage and other kid until I dug deep into this, because I think a lot of people didn't, So, at this point, she's still not having sex with him. They're just having this emotional affair. So, he then invited Stephanie over to Kim's house. So, okay. So, he's trying to romance her, and I don't know why the fuck he thought this would work. But he's like, hey, come to my house. Come over and we'll spend some romantic time together. I'm just, he probably didn't say that. This is just me acting this out. So she comes over to the house that him and Kim share. Kim's gone somewhere with Brad, the baby. Or I don't know if he's a baby at this point, but so he goes down into the basement, and this ain't the house that they were found in. This is a different house, the first one they had. They go down, into the basement, because I guess they moved into a house after the apartment. I probably skipped over some shit, but y'all get the point. She goes down into the basement, and they start making out. Supposedly she's saying that she did not sleep with him still, that they're just making out when all of a sudden the garage door opener pops up, and guess what? Kim's fucking home, and he jumps up and he's like, oh my god, my wife. Ooh. So, oh my god, my wife. She's freaking out. She runs up the stairs and out the door before Kim could ever see her. But, dumbass forgot her car is parked in the driveway. So, she jumps a fence and ends up on the other side. Well, she ends up finding out that She ends up finding out, getting somehow David's slick with it and gets upstairs, and Kim's like, oh, whose car is that? And he's like, oh, well, it's my friend's car. I'm going to fix it. I'm just test driving it for him. And then he leaves with the car and meets her down the road, takes her back to the gym, and his buddy, which is another police officer, picks him up and tells him, you're wild, basically. So, at this time, Stephanie's starting to feel uneasy, and she's like, what the fuck, dog? Like any normal person would be. Like, I don't want to be this normal. I don't want to be this fucking person. I mean, that's what I would think. I don't want to be this fucking person. All right, well, don't be this person. So I guess at this point, Kim tells him she's now pregnant again. He did tell Stephanie about the new baby, and she was already fine with Whitney because she had met her. She was already fine with Brad and she had seen him a couple times, but she wasn't okay with this new baby. Well, she thought. And so she ends it right there. Eventually, he's like, so they had this trip planned that weekend to go out of state to a NASCAR, a Napa race or something. And he gets down there, and his brother says that he's so sad and depressed and this and that, and can't, eat or drink. He misses her, Stephanie, and he loves her so much. It's basically like he didn't even have a wife. So he calls Stephanie, gets her down there, manipulates her down there. She comes down there. Supposedly, she had a room, David's brother, Donnie, had a room there, and he left so they can have that room together, but they still hadn't had sex yet, supposedly. At this point, I don't know, maybe they did it that night. I'm not sure what the fuck happened, but she's making some bad decisions. Pretty bad decisions. So when Kim was about 5 months with Jill, about 5 months pregnant, she's like, something's up. I don't know. Maybe something went down, and she started thinking maybe he's cheating on me. I mean, some people, I don't blame her or think she's stupid for not knowing. Some people and some men are just so good at lying that you believe them, that you think that they're God's gift to women. And like the kind of person she was not a very confrontational person. She just went with the flow of things. I think she was happy, and she ignored a lot of stuff, and it led to that. So just out of no fucking where, he's like, yeah. Or she walks up to him and she said, I feel like you're having an affair. And he fucking comes out while she's 5 months pregnant, you know, has a baby. I'm sorry, I'm having an affair. So at this point, she's shocked. What do you say when they say, oh, yeah, I am having a fucking affair? Typically, when you say, I know you're fucking cheating on me, you motherfucker, they're going to be like, no, I'm not. He was just straight up yes. She's devastated. She picks up Brad. She leaves and goes to her mom. She tells them everything. Mom, he's fucking cheating on me. Oh, my God. Because that would be me. Oh, my God. Let's fucking kill him. But I'm guessing she was church going and wasn't cussing all kind of crazy. But being pregnant and getting cheated on, my God. My God. That upsets me to a level that makes me really upset. So after a few days and everything's fresh and raw, and she ends up calling David and telling him, I'm not coming back until you leave the fucking house. I'm not coming back. I don't care what you say. I'm not coming back. You know what I'm saying? I'm not coming back. And he's like, you know, I'm pretty sure he's like, I'm fucking leaving the house. And he calls his mom. Hey, Mom. You know, Susie. Hey, Mom. Can I come and live with you? Kim's kicking me out. Well, Susie is on Kim's side. She's like, no, you've been, fucking all these bitches. And I'm sure it was not said the way that I'm saying it. You've been having sex with all these motherfuckers, and you think I'm going to let you come back to my house? Psh, fuck no. He flips his shit. He flips his shit so bad that Susie calls the police on him, and he's a police officer. So he's in there tearing up the whole entire house. Tearing it up. And the police come, and they're like, what's wrong, David? And he's like, nothing. I just lost my temperature. Temperature. I can't talk. I lost my temper. Shit's hanging from the ceiling, probably. And still, nobody says anything. They're just like, yeah, cool. Okay. So no report was filed, and they said they agreed that they was going to divorce. They sold the house and split it. And in November of '94, he moved into the Lockwood Apartments in New Albany and got an apartment. And guess what? Shortly after he moved into his apartment, Stephanie moves in down the street or next door with her roommate. So fucking coincidental. So Kim and Brad got an apartment, And Kim's life went back to normal. Being a mother, being pregnant. She has a new baby on the way. She's grinding. She's still working at her job. She makes good money. Maybe she's not hurting for money. Because all of David's family is taking her side. They're taking her side on everything. They're like, nah, you're a fucking dog. That'd be me and my family. You're a fucking dog, man. What the fuck? But I'm sure all these church-going people was not talking like how I am. And if I offend you with my vulgarness and my cussing, I'm sorry. It's the way I talk. I'll eventually probably get better and not curse as much. But sometimes I can't help it. I'm going to be me. I'm not going to try to be anybody else. So, with that, the holidays, so this is around November. He moves in his place. She moves in his. So you got to think, Christmas, you got your fucking, it's your first Christmas. You're now newly, probably about to be divorced. You're pregnant. You got a baby. You working a job. Like, could you imagine the level of stress? But Kim's parents and the Wrens moved and came together and supported her so much. It was said on Christmas that Susie and the Lockharts all went over to the Janice's and Frank's house, and they had a big dinner, or they spent time together just so Kim wouldn't feel alone. And I think that's really good. I think that, you know, I think that shows how good of a family this family was. So on February 28th of 1998, Jill was born. And it was said that David either kept a low profile or wasn't there. Of course, he's knee-deep in pussy over there with Stephanie at his apartment, being a bachelor. He ain't got time to worry about being a fucking dad. And I don't know this man, and don't kill me, man. I'm just saying. Like, it just seems that you were pretty narcissistic and kind of just stayed away from your family. So, at this point, Stephanie's like, man, you got a new baby. Even though she knew she was pregnant, like, you know, a baby comes after that. I don't know why she was so upset about it. And she just started feeling more and more uncomfortable. So one night, Mark Abbott calls her, which is her ex-boyfriend. And she goes over there. And they're supposedly, David can't find her. It's 4 in the morning. He don't know where she's at. Eventually, he calls Mark. And, of course, he's still a cop, y'all. So I want to remind y'all of this. He's still a cop. So he calls Mark's house, and she answers. And he's like, and she said his voice sent a chill up her spine. He said, get home now. And she gets off the phone. She's like, oh, God. To me, that's what it seems like. She was over, you know, she's starting to realize this shit's not working out. She left her man probably for David. Then she realized he's more trouble than he fucking needs. And she goes back and wants to be back with Mark. That's what all them type do. And the ones always fall for it. So then they get over to, she gets over there to her apartment. He's standing off of back in a cut. And he's like, what the fuck were you doing out with him? Or what the fuck was you doing with him? And then she's like, we were just talking. And he was like, oh, really? And then he pulls this gun out and sticks it to his chest. Now, mind you, he's still a cop, you guys. While all this is going on, he's still a fucking state police. He pulls a gun on him and he's like, I'll fucking end it right now. And she's like, you need to put the gun away and you need to relax. Told him, you know, we need to break up. And you know what he says, supposedly? He says, it's okay. Kim will just take me back. And then he ends up calling Kim that night and they get back together. So his uncle ended up talking him into, why don't y'all build this house like over here on my property on Lockhart Road in Georgetown? Across the street. I Google mapped it. I'm going to put, I don't know which way, one of these ways. I Google mapped it and I'm going to put the picture up. So, and it was about 7 houses. There was some space in between them. It took him 8 months to build the house. And it was said that right after that, he began to fall back into normal ways, having a lot of affairs. So in fall of 1995, at 7534 Lockhart Road was done. Kim was so happy. And you know you have to be happy. Like, your family's back together, so you think, and it's going good. You have this beautiful house. And I mean, it's beautiful. I'm going to put some pictures up. Beautiful house. You want to change, you want to do these things to it. You just want your family, because she seemed like a family going, you know, people. And at this point, Kim's just been stacking up, like, in her career. So at this point, she has 2 kids, and she's like senior accountant at her company. And when she would go to work, the kids went to one of the grandparents, either the Wrens, or they would go to Susie and them, the Camms. And so that's her everyday life, was getting up, taking the kids to the grandparents, or getting them breakfast, taking the kids to the grandparents, then going to work over in Louisville, and then coming back, picking the kids up, having to take them to different things because they were in ballet, they were in all this other stuff. They was in all kind of things. But his family was around, so they helped out a whole lot. Like, I think his sister lived next door to her, and her kid, I think our little kid was named Hannah. Or was it a cousin? I don't know. Somebody lived next door that had a little girl named Hannah, all the kids played with. And then across the street was his Uncle Leland. Now, Leland stayed there and took care of his grandpa, Amos. Now, his grandpa, Amos, as a kid, built the kids a playhouse, built David a playhouse, and then he was now working on building a new one. There's that. So the neighborhood was like a really good, neighborhood. Like, little street. You know, you got family. Everybody wants to live near their family, I think. So it's said at this point, Kim starts to get, like, I mean, you gotta think, she's stressed to her fucking max. She has all these kids, well, 2 kids. She has the 2 kids. She's doing fucking everything, working, taking care of the kids, cleaning, taking care of David, doing his fucking ironing and shit. Just, do you understand how exhausting that is, to be everything for everybody and nobody does nothing for you? This poor woman. So she's starting to get headaches, but she still never complains. I think she would say it one time and then she'd be done. And then, so, like, but, you know, she was so excited about decorating the house, wanting to put a pool on the back and a deck and stuff like that. And the kids were full of life and doing things with her, you know, David's family and kids. And it was just all around a good place to live. She was excited. 97, he's living a double life, and he was a church man in the daytime or on Sundays and with his family, but every night he was out doing wild shit. Everybody said that he was a womanizer. That's what I heard throughout this whole thing. Like, he did not care. He just wanted to get that and then be gone. So in late of February 97, Kim and David went on vacation down to Florida. Well, he has a brother down there that does insurance, and signed her and the kids and him, which is normal for, like, insurance, like life insurance, all this stuff. And he basically did it. So in the late 90s, David almost died. It's not funny. That's fucked up. David almost died in a helicopter accident. It was like some training thing, and that's all I got. And then he said that was a message from God, that he needed to be about his family, like he needed so many. So, in 1998, at Graceland Christian School, Brad went to, and then 2 years later, Jill went to. And so Kim made twice his salary. And in 97, Provision course, a Kentucky division, and they was basically, I guess it's Aegon. She had 650 people there were 650 people on staff, and she still had her job. He's doing everything. He's living his best life, doing all that stuff still. And in January of 99, he was involved in a high-speed chase, and he was seen as one of the cops pulling out this kid and beating his ass. And it was like making news. You know how that shit goes around now. But it was going around then. So this, you got to think this is 99, January 99. And at this point is when his relationship with the police turned. And he started, because the news is airing it 24/7. People are like saying something to him, just saying crazy shit. And he started feeling like they kind of betrayed him, because he tries to apply for jobs, and they're like, they're basically like, nah, you're not. You can't have that. Like, he tried for a detective, but the guy, his friend Sean, that he got on, ended up getting detective, and he didn't, because he had that in his background. It's saying that he made $38,000 a year around about, and Kim made $70,000 on top of her bonuses and everything. So you got to think, she made money. And it was said before that he said, I can't divorce her. She makes too much money. And Kim was basically on him, like, you're not making enough money, you're gone all the time, I need help. Basically just, you know, fucking speaking the truth now. She's done everything by herself. In January of 2000, UDI, which is the company that his grandpa or his uncle Sam, who is the guy you will always see on the news with him, who like stood beside him through all of the trials, basically did everything he could money-wise and took care of David while he was in jail, all that. So that uncle helped Sam, told him, hey, won't you come try moonlighting, which means he was working on the side with him, see if you like it, and then maybe you can find a career here. So he's like paying him really good, and he around February of 2000, he's moonlighting. He's still working for the police, but he's like putting his focus into UDI. And he's still, so basically Camm puts in his notice after his 36th birthday, which is sometime in 2000, in March. So around March of 2000, he puts in his birthday, puts in his notice. And he's telling Randy Hubbard, which is his friend, the chief, he's telling him, basically a long list of everything he hates about the department now and all that. And so basically, he gave us 3 months for 3 months like afterwards. So March, April, May, June. So around June, he would be done with policing. This was like around April or May after his birthday. They said that he frequented PT's lounge downtown a lot. He was there a lot. I will be turning this into a 2-part series. Please be on the lookout for my new video next week. Part 2, David Camm.